What's up, party people? It is October. We are knee-deep into spooky season, everyone. And so, what better during spooky season than to tell each other scary stories? I'm not really a big fan of scary stories. I'm gonna rephrase that. Spooky stories. Mildly spooky stories. Mildly spooky stories that are not necessarily life-threatening, but that is what we are going to be doing today, people. I am going to be getting ready because I need to work soon. Where am I getting these creepy stories from, you ask? Gladly, thankfully, not from my own repertoire of life experiences. I am done dealing with crazy shit. So I have been digging down that Reddit rabbit hole and I dug up some creepy stories that I have been reading. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So the first story that I have ready for you is on the Reddit thread, Creepy Encounters. Fun. It's titled, "Some lady just knocked on my door at 4 a.m. Honestly, if anything happened at 4 a.m., that is enough to spook me out. All right, so here's the story. So I'm sitting in my living room in pitch black darkness at 4 a.m., just sitting on my phone, and some lady just started knocking on my door saying, housekeeping. Weird. She did this about 3 times while I stood up and froze. Then I heard it angrily mumble something like, fine, call the police. Then I think I heard her march back into the neighbor's apartment across the hall. She moved in a couple weeks ago, and I don't know if she's tweaking or what, but now I can't sleep and I have to go to work in less than 4 hours. Thanks, lady." I'm a little confused by the story here because they don't give us much context, but I'm assuming that this person lives in an apartment complex and someone was knocking on the door at 4 a.m. saying housekeeping multiple times, and therefore it freaked this person out. Oh, they gave us an update. I was late to work and I also realized it's Sunday, so the office to my landlord is closed and I have to call tomorrow. I'll check in with the guy who lives below me on the way home though to see if he's had anything happen recently. Yeah, definitely do that. I honestly don't know how I would feel about some neighbor in my apartment who's like unhinged knocking on my door at 4 a.m. saying housekeeping. That's a little weird. Here's another update. Wow, I didn't expect this to blow up like it did. It's about to be night 2 and I've since gotten a new Blink doorbell camera installed and talked to the neighbor below about me. He said he hasn't seen or heard anything like that, so who knows? I haven't actually talked to the lady across the hall yet simply because I'm super nervous too. I would be too. And figured if anything happens, I'll have it on video. Honestly, at that point, I don't even know if I would be like brave enough to watch the footage just because then I don't know, that's like super creepy. Update number 3, it hasn't even been that long since I put the doorbell cam up and I already have seen creepy footage of my neighbor acting weird and staring at my door. Ew, that's so creepy. I think I would die. I know that I shouldn't be joking around with the situation because honestly that's kind of creepy and really fucked up if like a neighbor is doing that as like a prank. But like what if she really was offering like free housekeeping at 4 a.m.? I'm getting like goosebumps. This is kind of weird. I can't really imagine the situation where the woman did not have the intention of stealing something. Like, why would she do that? Like, why else would she do that? She obviously wanted to like enter the apartment for like to like take something or something. I don't know. There's a reason why I'm not a detective, okay? Anyways, let's move on to the next creepy story. Haha. All right, let's move on to the next story. This one is called Creepy Job Offer from High School Teacher. Yeah, for those of you who haven't seen my previous videos, I used to have a creepy high school teacher. If you haven't watched the story yourself, the video can be found here in the cards. Back to the story. Creepy job offer from high school teacher. Weird. You know, I am so surprised by the number of like creepy people in like the school system. Like, why are they allowed like... So here is the story. All right, so here is the story. I had a physics teacher in grade 11 or 12 that was cool for the most part, but definitely flirty with girls. I remember during tests, he would do weird things like look over my shoulder to see what I was writing. Disgusting. Then take an item from my desk to mess with me. Weird, but not alarming. Girl. One time, I cannot remember exactly what he said, but it prompted me to throw a pen at him. I didn't mean for it to hit, but it did, right on his head. I felt so bad and apologized profusely. I can't really imagine a situation where you would need to throw a pen at him unless he was like being aggressively violent to you, or he specifically said, throw a pen at my head, in which case I would be weirded out, and I think so with the rest of the class. But she didn't tell us anything about it, so I'm not gonna assume anything. I didn't get in trouble, but I guess it became one of the many jokes of the year. Makes sense. Literally everything sticks in high school. After I graduated high school, he messaged me on Facebook asking if I wanted a job. I was in university at the time, focused on my studies, so I said no. He kept going, saying it was a job at a massage parlor and it involves happy endings. I blocked him and didn't hear from him again. Anyways, now I don't feel so bad about the pen incident. This guy's like straight up Jeffrey Epsteining her, which is so bad. If you haven't watched my video already about my high school teacher who was like creepy in high school, he basically did like the same thing. He was like very flirty with girls, but a couple of my friends would tell me that like he would hit them up after they had graduated. Honestly, just speechless. That is so gross, because then he literally waited until it was legal. And that's why it is our responsibility as the future generation to do better. I wanted to take a little break from the creepy stories to have a little bit of comedic relief. And I guess it's not really comedic because some of the situations are kind of fucked up, but let's go ahead and see what we have. So this story is called Am I the Asshole for Dancing Half Naked in My Living Room, Leading to My Boyfriend and His Family Seeing Me? Let's get started, shall we? So, a little bit of background. Nate's family is also really conservative, and he was brought up like that as well. Someone mentioned I should have added this in, and so also I'm from the US since a lot of people asked. This is so embarrassing, but I can't take it anymore. Let's read the story, shall we? I, a 21-year-old female, was told by my boyfriend, Nate, we shall call him, a 26-year-old male, that I'd get the house to myself for the weekend. He said he had to go visit his parents to take care of a property-related issue. Interesting. I was pretty excited to have the house to myself because I have been living with Nate since I was 19 and I miss living alone, though Nate is the love of my life and in no way a trouble to live with. I had this tradition of spending a lot of my weekends baking while in my lingerie. I don't know, it makes me feel pretty. Yes, I know it's stupid, but it makes me stupid happy with music and dancing. Understandable, girl, you do you, boo. Super embarrassing to admit, but I also do silly things like pretending I'm a Victoria's Secret model or a singer and I sing along loudly. I mentioned this because this means the house is usually a mess. My dresses are all over and the music is super loud, which is obviously not okay. I hadn't done that in a long time because Nate hates loud music and he is not a fan of my cupcakes. So I decided to do it this weekend. I don't know if I could ever be in a relationship knowing that I love loud music and have my partner hate loud music. That's just a non-negotiable for me. Back to the story. So it's Sunday and I put on What a Feeling by One Direction and it's super loud. I'm only wearing lingerie, the Victoria's kind, so lacy AF, which I regret so much looking back. Ugh. My boyfriend used his key to open the door and I didn't hear him come in because, like I said, it's loud in the house and I'm also in the kitchen living room area. Apparently he wanted to surprise me. Nate brought his mom, dad, and his sister's 2 kids, only like 10 years old, I think. They come in and there I am, frozen in a dance pose like an idiot. I quickly ran to our room, yelling sorry, wasn't expecting anyone, and was putting on clothes when Nate came in. He was so angry, he said I was acting like a child and that I embarrassed him. His parents wanted Nate to drop them back as soon as possible, refusing to stay, and his mom called me a lot of names and said the kids had seen everything and they made me feel guilty as fuck. Girl, I already hate the boyfriend. But when you look at it from their perspective, I was behaving like an immature person. The house was a mess. I looked a mess. There were baking supplies scattered. Nate just wanted to surprise me and do something nice. I'm like not even through the entire story, but I'm just speechless. Nate is still not completely talking to me. I don't know how to face his family, and I also know his sister told him to make me behave or something. Misogynistic as fuck. So I feel like I should apologize before things got worse, but I can't decide for sure if I'm in the wrong here, so I need your help. Thank you for reading. Girl, I would run if I were you. I decide that she is not the asshole. What do you guys think? Actually, let's see what the comments say. Okay, so first comment, not the asshole. It's completely unreasonable for anyone to hold you to any expectation of behavior while at home by yourself. And when you pop in to surprise someone with no warning, you might get a surprise for yourself. 100% agree. That is your home. You are free to do whatever that you want. In response to, I also know his sister told him to make me behave or something. What the fuck country is this? Are you property or like a pet or something? Don't apologize for whatever you are doing and don't accept any criticism, and definitely don't tolerate insults from Nate or anyone else. He should be apologizing to you for putting you in that situation. 100% girl. Ooh, we have a little highlighted response here. I'm gonna read it to you. Wait, your boyfriend is angry at you because he walked in on you? Am I tracking this correctly? No, not the asshole. You are allowed to do what you want in your house. Why would he even bring people by without giving a heads up anyways? That's just so weird. And please don't get me started on mom. She's off her rocker. You don't get to go insult someone in their home. Don't want to show? Send a text before just walking in. There's so much audacity here, I just don't even know. What I do know is you owe nobody What I do know is that you owe nobody an apology and you did nothing wrong. like they owe you many. Their behavior was completely and utterly unacceptable, and you need to sit down and really evaluate and see what is happening here. This is in no way a normal, acceptable, or even reasonable response to their error. What an interesting thread. Since we've had that bit of comedic relief, let's go ahead and go back to the creepy stories. Okay, so the next story that we have is titled, "Was He After My Daughter or Me?" Let's give this a go. Yesterday, my daughter, 8 years old, and I went to one of those app-based games. It's like a scavenger hunt, but digital. We had to follow the map, it asked questions, and we had to solve riddles, things like that. The theme is one of our favorite books and movies. She and I went to the game with some of our friends and their kids about the same age. There were hundreds of people in costumes roaming around downtown trying to save the person in the game. My daughter has a very rare health issue. I will not go into details for privacy reasons. Everything was fine, and then she wasn't. We had to leave early before the game was done. So we start our walk back to the car that was in a parking garage ran by the city. We took our time. The elevator apparently was broken, so we had to walk up 3 floors. I tell my daughter we will take our time and her equipment is in the car. As we are walking to the stairwell, a man follows us in. The hair on my neck stands up. I get a chill, goosebumps all over. I carry pepper spray on my key ring. I tell my daughter to walk right in front of me and take her time. I unlock the trigger on the pepper spray. This man could have walked around us at any time. He didn't. He stayed right behind us. Creepy. When we get to the 3rd level, I have my arm locked right around hers. Our car is the first one right there next to the stairwell. He follows us to the door. I quickly unlock my car and pretty much toss her inside and close the door. I turn around to face him. He looks at me, doesn't say a word, and walks back into the stairwell. There was no one in the parking garage. All the employees had already left for the day, and there were no cameras in this specific garage. Now I ever wonder if the elevator was really broken because I don't remember seeing signs on the door when we got there. We didn't ride the elevator down because my daughter likes taking the stairs, but going down is way easier for her than going up. I like the story because there was a good ending to it. Honestly, one of those pieces of advice that my mom has told me is that like whenever you feel like you're in danger, just act fucking crazy and that'll drive away like crazy people. Yeah, even though I like that story, that was pretty creepy. So we're gonna end. I just watched the Jeffrey Dahmer docu-series or whatever on Netflix. And that is all for today, my friends. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments down below, which was your favorite story? Honestly, none of them were my favorite story because don't really like creepy stories. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to my channel for more. I'm gonna be doing a lot more of these, so if you like them, let me know. If you don't like them, also let me know so I don't just make them thinking that you'll like them. Bye.